International Management 101, a brief overview of global business strategies. International management is the practice of managing business operations in more than one country. It involves planning, organizing, leading, and controlling business activities in a global environment where cultural, economic, political, and legal conditions vary significantly across borders. Unlike domestic management, international management requires a deep understanding of multiple markets and the ability to adapt to complex international dynamics. Managers must consider factors such as cultural expectations, global supply chains, currency fluctuations, trade regulations, and institutional differences. For instance, a global firm like Nestlé must coordinate operations across hundreds of countries while remaining sensitive to local tastes, regulatory environments, and political climates. Successful international managers are strategic thinkers who can balance global integration with local responsiveness. Cultural dimensions and cross-cultural management. Culture plays a central role in international management. Managers working across borders must be attuned to cultural differences in communication styles, attitudes toward hierarchy, decision-making processes, time orientation, and social norms. Scholars such as Geert Hofstede and Fons Trompenaars have developed frameworks to help managers understand and compare national cultures. Hofstede's model, for example, includes dimensions such as individualism versus collectivism, masculinity versus femininity, power distance, and long-term orientation. These dimensions can help explain why a manager from a low power distance culture like Denmark might approach authority and decision-making differently from a counterpart in a high power distance country like Malaysia. Misunderstandings and conflicts can arise when managers ignore these cultural variables. For instance, direct communication styles common in the Netherlands might be perceived as rude in Japan, where indirectness and harmony are valued. Effective cross-cultural management involves building cultural intelligence, promoting inclusivity, and engaging in active learning and adaptation. Global strategy and market entry modes. One of the core responsibilities in international management is deciding how to enter and compete in foreign markets. Firms must choose among various entry modes, each with different implications for control, risk, and resource commitment. Exporting is often a first step, allowing firms to test international demand without significant investment. Licensing and franchising allow for quick expansion with local partners, but may limit control over operations and brand reputation. Joint ventures involve shared ownership and decision-making with a foreign partner, providing access to local knowledge, but also requiring careful coordination and trust. Wholly owned subsidiaries, though costly and complex, offer the highest level of control and integration. For example, McDonald's initially entered India through joint ventures with local entrepreneurs, but eventually moved toward greater control as it gained experience in the market. Strategic decisions must consider not only economic factors, but also legal systems, political risks, and cultural compatibility. Managing international teams and human resources. International management also involves leading diverse, multicultural teams and managing human resources across different national contexts. This includes recruiting and retaining talent, designing equitable compensation systems, ensuring compliance with labor laws, and promoting a cohesive organizational culture. Multinational corporations must decide between using expatriates, hiring local nationals, or employing third country nationals to fill leadership roles abroad. Each choice has trade-offs in terms of cost, cultural adaptation, and control. For example, sending a U.S. expatriate to lead operations in Brazil may ensure alignment with headquarters, but may also lead to cultural friction or higher costs. Managing virtual international teams adds additional complexity, requiring sensitivity to time zones, language barriers, and varying work norms. Google's teams often span continents, requiring robust communication protocols, inclusive leadership styles, and a shared sense of purpose. Successful international managers foster trust, clarity, and collaboration despite physical and cultural distances. Legal, ethical, and political considerations. Operating across borders means complying with a wide array of legal frameworks and adapting to political environments that can range from stable democracies to volatile regimes. Managers must understand international trade agreements, labor standards, intellectual property laws, and anti-corruption regulations such as the US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act or the UK Bribery Act. Political risk analysis is essential, especially in regions experiencing conflict, regulatory uncertainty, or nationalization of industries. Ethical challenges are also prominent in international contexts. Practices deemed acceptable in one country may be viewed as unethical or illegal elsewhere. For instance, child labor may be tolerated in some regions, but violates international norms and company codes of conduct. Nike and Apple have both faced criticism over labor conditions in supplier factories, prompting reforms and stricter oversight. Managers must balance local practices with global ethical standards and stakeholder expectations, often navigating tensions between profitability and responsibility. Global economic forces and technological change. As global economic forces reshape industries and technological change accelerates, businesses must continuously adapt to stay competitive in a rapidly evolving marketplace. International managers must also stay attuned to macroeconomic forces and technological advancements that shape the global business landscape. Currency exchange rates, inflation, interest rates, and trade barriers can significantly impact operations and profitability. For example, a sudden devaluation of a local currency might make exports cheaper, but increase the cost of imported inputs. Economic crises, such as the 2008 global recession or the COVID-19 pandemic, expose the vulnerabilities of international supply chains and force companies to reassess their risk management strategies. Technological change adds both opportunities and pressures, as digital platforms, artificial intelligence, and automation reshape how business is conducted across borders. Amazon, for example, uses advanced logistics and data analytics to operate efficiently in diverse markets. Digital tools also enable international collaboration and customer engagement, but raise questions about data privacy, cybersecurity, and access disparities. Managers must be forward-looking and agile in responding to such shifts. Sustainability and corporate social responsibility. Sustainability and corporate social responsibility are no longer add-ons. They are central to how modern businesses operate. Companies that take environmental stewardship seriously manage their impact, conserve resources, and support the health of ecosystems. Ethical business practices go hand in hand, guiding decisions with integrity and a sense of responsibility to people and planet. Together, these commitments build trust, reduce risk, and position firms for long-term success in a changing world. Sustainability is becoming an increasingly important dimension of international management. Stakeholders, including consumers, investors, and regulators, are demanding greater environmental and social accountability from global firms. This means that companies must integrate sustainability into their global strategies, from sourcing and production to marketing and reporting. For instance, Unilever has committed to reducing its carbon footprint and supporting sustainable agriculture across its international supply chain. International managers must ensure that sustainability goals are not only set at headquarters, but also implemented and monitored at the local level. They must also navigate competing priorities, such as cost efficiency versus environmental stewardship, in markets where regulatory standards vary. Adopting globally consistent values while tailoring local practices is key to building credibility and trust in different parts of the world. Conclusion, summarizing the key takeaways. International management is a dynamic and multifaceted field that requires a balance of strategic vision, cultural awareness, operational expertise, and ethical judgment. As companies expand globally and face rising complexity, the role of international managers becomes more vital. They must think globally while acting locally, navigating the tension between standardization and adaptation, profit and principle, efficiency and empathy. Whether coordinating supply chains across continents, managing culturally diverse teams, or responding to geopolitical shocks, international managers play a pivotal role in shaping the future of global business. With the world becoming more interconnected, yet increasingly fragmented, international management is not just about crossing borders, it is about building bridges. Stay tuned for more insights into business and the social sciences. If you found this overview helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on future topics you'd like us to cover. I'm Dr. Dog, wishing you a fantastic day ahead.